Gano, your host and guide through the world of harmonious business growth. Today, we're unlocking powerful strategies with industry experts to help your business thrive. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or executive, you are in the right place. Join me and our incredible guests today on the journey to clarity, growth, and success. It is time to revolutionize your approach to business. Let's dive in with another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. We are back with some more bite-sized business advice, and we're going to be talking about how to be unstoppable today. Create the unstoppable you. I feel like we should have been recording like long before I actually hit record, because I was chatting with our guest beforehand, and it's already been an amazing conversation. So I regret that you have not heard anything so far, but we're going to continue that conversation with Jaclyn Strominger. Jaclyn, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Oh, Brandon, thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here and talk with you. Yeah, I loved our pre-show conversation. It was really great.
That's my mistake. So maybe I'll record as soon as people get on camera, and we'll have a blooper reel from now on. But anyway, you are a high achiever coach. You help people achieve more, get to the next level of themselves. Tell me what that means, though, because I mean, even just on paper, like a high achiever coach, people could take that in 100 different directions. So what is it that you say that you do?
What I say that I do is I help people get to the next level in their life and their business. And I help them gain clarity and reignite their drive and their inner force so that every day they wake up with passion and purpose. And a lot of times it's actually reigniting somebody in their business or helping them, get up, go from being that running your business to being the CEO of your business and being the CEO of your life, which is a big, I'm a big proponent of talking to people and helping them become that CEO of their life and business.
That's so interesting. So I want to talk about how to do that practically in the next 15 minutes. But something that came up that I thought of while you were describing that was, I notice in our clients when we meet them, sometimes they get stuck at a certain level in business. We'll just use revenue levels because I think that's easy. Revenue, employees, it could all be the same. Let's say you're doing 600,000, 1.2 million, 3.4 million, and you've been doing that for the last 5 years. When I meet them, they seem so stuck, but in their personal lives. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason why they're stuck in their businesses, but they get in this rut and they don't know how to get out. So do you find that too? Like if an entrepreneur stays at a certain level for too long, they actually tend to go backwards a little bit?
I do. And it's actually, I don't want to say it's complacency, but we start to look one of the things that I see is that in our business, when somebody's still at that same level, they got here, but what are they doing to measure, monitor, and adjust what they are doing? And are they adapting to change? And have they set other goals? So if you have, let's say that $600,000 a month is driven by, I'm just going to say 10 clients, and that was your goal, 10 clients. Well, where is the next level that you set? And what did you do to get those 10 clients? And what do you need to do to scale? And is it something that you even want? Are you happy with that 1.2 million? But that's something that we need to decide, and we have to think about within ourselves. And you have to think, you have to dig deep and say, okay, well, I'm here. Do I want to get here? Do I want to go up? Or what do I really want? And then if you are running that business, what do you need to do to level yourself up? Because a lot of times what we see is that in order to get to be the person that's overseeing the business versus being in the business, right? Is that you need to let go. You need to be able to let go and give other people the reins and know that that compassion that you have of helping everybody can actually be holding you back. You want to be in there. You don't want to see people fail or fall or make a mistake, but that's also how people learn. So what can you do to get yourself looking at the bird's eye view as the CEO so that you can be really running the business and helping reach those extra milestones and meet those next levels. But the key thing is you have to want it.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean it seems obvious to most people, but it's there has to be a way to identify, do you want it or do you just think the outside world wants it for you to some degree? Like you don't
Right.
have to conform to what other people say for your business. It's got to be about what you want. And I'm curious about becoming the CEO of you. Before that, I just want to point out this is why I love you so much and I'm excited for this episode. I was talking about $600,000 a year, and Jaclyn jumps in and goes, "No, if you're doing 600,000 a month and you want to grow," she's just like, "No, we're gonna blow that mark out of the water. You're thinking small already." So if you're thinking small, listening, just understand where Jaclyn's mindset is.
Right. You gotta
Um,
think big.
I agree
You
with you. I
right?
love
You
it.
gotta think big. That way, the bigger the thought, right? The more you can go after. So, you know, do you want 1.2 million, or do you want, and I'm gonna say, is that net or gross?
You see
Like,
this? Do you see where we're going with this episode? This is great.
right? Like, so, I did, just so you know, like I did consumer marketing for years. And one of the, you always had the spreadsheet of looking at where everything was going, what was your gross, what was your response rates, what did you budget, what actually came in, what was the net difference, where were you going with it, and how can you make it better? And we're always looking at measure, monitoring, and adjusting, but we have to do the same thing for our life and our business, just and our, and where we're going.
Yeah. So you made the point. First of all, you have to want it, and then you have to. I mean, I think, and I want to hear your take on it. You have to do it for yourself first, because if you're
Mhm.
not capable of growing yourself, you're not capable of growing your business, and one's gonna fall if you try too hard in any one direction. So, what are the steps to becoming the CEO of you? Like, how do you start to up level yourself?
So, it's such a great question. And so, the way that I look at it, and what I take my clients through, is that we start with, it's called the LEAP framework, but the L is leveling up your communication. It's the communication that you say to yourself and that you say to your business. But it starts with your vision, your mission, your achievement code, which is your core values, and your superpower. We look at that both from the standpoint of, where do you want to be in your life? Where do you want to be in your business? What is the vision and mission for your life, the vision and mission for your business? And then we want to put them together. So we want to raise that up so that you are running and you're the CEO of your life and business together. They're not separate. We have to, people always have that idea of, I've got my business life and I've got my home life. You've got your life. And when we start to separate those two, there's a lot of anger, resentment, and unhappiness that can come out of that. We want to be living one life, not two. They should be able to meld together. Now, yes, they're different, but when you take that intersection, like that Venn diagram, and you pull out that intersection, and that becomes their overarching vision, mission, then we can then define both of the personal life and the business life. And that's where you start really becoming that CEO of you, because you're running your life and business. And when we know what those are, then you can communicate to the people in your life, and you can communicate that vision to the people within your business. And when we have that in our business, and everybody has bought into that, your business is going to thrive. It's also going to help you know who not to bring into your business. It's going to also help you know, maybe there might be some people you need to kick out because they're not in your vision and they don't have that same achievement code, or they're not, we talk about, you can teach skills, you can't teach character, and you can't teach value codes. You just can't teach that. That's somebody that's inherent within them. And that's where, getting the right people in your business and in your life will help you thrive and level up. And then once we have that dialed in, then we can look at the energy that you're putting out, which is tied into that. I love to share, we do something called an energy leadership assessment, and we look at, where are you every day, and how do you work and interact under stress? And sometimes we are coming from, and we don't even realize it, that we're coming from a place of, I need to win. Sometimes we're coming from the place of, you win. And sometimes we're coming from the place of, we win. But how about if we can get you to come from the place of, we're all winning? And if we can get there with our energy levels, then your your vibe is so attracting, and it's going to attract the right people, the right clients, the right people to your business, the right people into your life. And then we start putting action plans together. And then we do what I love to call MMA your business. You always need to be measure, monitoring, adjusting to propel and to perform. And so that's sometimes where that person's making that $600,000 a month or that 1.2 million a year, and they're there. Well, have they been monitoring and adjusting as they've been going? We always need to make little tweaks, and then we get our control, and then we do it again. Rinse and repeat. It can be, somebody might say, oh my God, that sounds boring. Well, guess what?
Boring is
Business,
also most effective. So
right? I was going to say business, if you think about it, how do you get here? It's called consistency. Consistency can be boring. You can make it fun. You can put games in for yourself, put games in for your teams. How many calls do you want to make? Do power hours with your team. There's lots of different things that you can put into place to make the consistency of business better, not boring.
yeah, it's funny. Like on that topic, I always talk to people who, they have that ADHD squirrel brain and they're like, oh, I'm always changing. I'm always doing new things. And my first thought is, your business probably isn't growing that much, is it? Or your employees are probably really burnt out. And it's this cycle that we get into. But I'm here to make boring sexy. As a fractional COO, there's nothing more boring than operations and business structure. But I promise you, that's how you grow your business. And it's in line with everything you just said.
Right.
Real quick, I want to go back to the the energy. We had talked about this briefly before we started recording, and I must say on this podcast, I feel blessed to get to talk to so many amazing people. I find that most people I talk to come here with the energy of we win. That also happens to be my primary focus,
Yes.
is how can we all win together. But outside of this podcast, I can't say that's the same thing. I meet a lot of people who they want to just win themselves and they don't care who they step on. Who do you find yourself meeting most often?
It's a really great question. I would probably say it runs the gamut, right? I tend to, when I'm out and about, like if I'm out networking, it's very interesting. I can see people and meet people, and I can hear their voice, and I can tell that they're coming from a I want to win mentality. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are in that. They go to networking events or they do something to network, and they're not, the thought is, how can I get my message out so that I can attract the right people? Well, what if you had the message of, what can I say that is going to actually bring about something better for everybody? And so I would say there's a lot of people that are out there that have that I win mentality. But if we can shift it to the we all win, that's, just think about how much better business and for lack of a better word, easier it would be, because we're not always just trying to sell people. We're trying to help people. We're trying to serve people. And that's what I love to try to help people shift into. How many, when we're thinking about business, thinking about your customer and thinking about who you're serving and who you want that person to be and how can you help them? And remember, and the key thing is, and think about companies that have gone away from this. Some of them have been beer companies, so not necessarily naming one, where
It
they've
was Bud
gone,
Light.
oh,
She's
yeah,
talking
but
about
like,
Bud Light.
yeah. Right. So they went away from their mission. They went away from their customer. Like, who are they serving? And what did it do? So you can reach a greater audience by focusing on one audience.
Yeah. It's a very powerful way to look at things. And funny enough, I told you about our other podcast that we do with myself and my business partner called The Ether. We've talked about them.
Yeah.
We've talked about Target. It's all the same. These big companies get distracted with, the way of the world, and they get away from their mission, their vision, their core values, and who they serve, more importantly,
Yeah.
because it's back to that shiny object thing. It's like, oh,
Right.
this is popular. Let's just do that. Let's go this way. And you ignore the people you serve, and everything crumbles.
Yep.
So on that note, though, as becoming the CEO of yourself, when you start to do this work, is it hard to bring other people with you? I mean, because I would also, and I've seen this in my own personal life, as I start to up level, other people started to fade away because they couldn't handle the change, which is technically fine, except when it's your employees and your team. So how do you make sure you're bringing other people around you, especially your staff, who is key to your business's success? How do you bring them with you and make them go on this personal journey in their own lives?
Communication. The biggest thing that you can do as you start to make changes is to bring your team with you by communicating what you're doing and why you're doing it, and ask ask them their opinion. I mean, in business, you know, the more you can find ways to include people in your vision and your mission and your passion and what you're doing, and getting their buy-in, and let them know, like, this is, you're going to see some change. This is where we see the company going, but you guys are also in the company, so get some of their feedback. I mean, it's so you have to, if you're, let's say you're the, you're the CEO here, and let's say you have a layer of VPs. Well, ask your VPs to do the same thing, to have them craft their vision and mission. Like, as you're doing it, get them to do the same thing, and then ask their team members. Like, get to know your team members within your company so that you know what they want. If I hear so many times that people are, and I'll share, this is actually one of my clients. She was working for a great company. She did super well. But then all of a sudden, she was like pushed aside, and she's like, I don't know why. And there was like, the mission of the company was changing. And so she's not included. And she's, great salesperson, but she's all of a sudden feeling like she's put on the outside. And so she ends up leaving. She's a great employee. She's awesome. But because she wasn't included in that, she felt completely removed. Expenses. It's like a huge expense, right? So if we don't retain our people, I think just in the United States alone, it's like it's over $1 trillion expense,
Hmm.
when people leave. It's not listed on our bottom line within on our you know um, profit and loss statements, so on our balance sheets. But if you can, again, include the people, get to know your employees, get to know their mission, bring them along, communicate with them, because you may actually find that when you discover your people and what they're really doing and what really drives them, you're going to bring out the best in people. And that's what we want. We want people to be able to be working happy and feeling their purpose and feeling that they've been heard too.
Mm, I love that. I heard this hack, and I want to hear how you feel about it. But there was a company who, when they're hiring, they actually don't take current resumes. They want their people to submit future resumes that shows after 3 to 5 years work, assuming they get the job working in this company, what does their resume say then? And they can immediately filter out the people who are on board for the mission and the vision of the company and their own personal vision, and who's just there for a job. I thought that was wild and super powerful.
I love that. I absolutely love that, because what that also does is it lets the employers know, where does that person want to go and how can you help them. I mean, we have to remember, I think this is like, we have to remember, when we're the I hate the word manager, but when the leader of a team or a leader within a company, we have to, Dale Carnegie said it best. You want to hire people that are smarter than you to have them take your spot so that you can either level up or help them grow. And that hack was a great way to do that. Like, because you can see where people want to go. And you also might find in that somebody, maybe they wrote themselves into a couple of different jobs because they want a more of a variety of learning. I mean, that's beautiful.
Yeah. No, I thought that was super cool. Jaclyn, the time has flown by. And we need to wrap this episode up. But if the listener wants more of you, and I think they should because you are awesome and this has been so fantastic, where should they go?
They should go to my website, leaptoyoursuccess.com. And when they go there, they will actually, there's a pop-up that comes up and they can actually get a free digital download journal of the Unstoppable Achievement Journal, which actually helps guide people through crafting their mission and vision statements. So go to leaptoyoursuccess.com.
I love it. That's fantastic. And I can't let you leave until we ask one more question, but it's a question from you to the listener. We believe at What If that powerful questions get powerful answers. That's the whole point of this show. And I want to know from you if someone is, well, I believe that there's always a next level, right? To your success, to yourself, to becoming the CEO. You can always get a little bit better. So wherever somebody is right now, what is that powerful question you want them to ask themselves until they get the answer before they embark on the next level of their personal journey?
The question I always like to ask people is, where are you today? And really think about where you want to be 5 years from now. What does that look like? And are you right now working to reach that 5-year plan?
That's a powerful question. And I'll just say this, I see over and over and over, even in the business world and entrepreneurs, it's like Groundhog Day. And time goes by, and in 5 years, you're in the same exact spot. And I don't think that's a real way to fulfillment unless you're completely happy. Different conversation. But if you want to grow, that's a powerful question for sure. Jaclyn, thank you so much for being here.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for having me. It has been such an absolute pleasure.
And wherever you're watching or listening, first of all, the website that Jaclyn mentioned is in the show notes below, wherever you are. But make sure you subscribe too. We love putting these episodes out 5 days a week so we can help you move your personal life and your business to whatever that next level is for you, and also make it a harmonious business and life. That's the whole goal. We'll see you on the next episode of Harmonious at Lunch.